Hey everybody, it's Wendy with Budget Pumpkin, and today we're going to do something a little different. So I've started going through, my husband and I decided to kind of do a little bit of a reset. So we are actually going to be resetting. I've pretty much pulled all the money out of the envelopes. I've started rolling change. We are going to start 2023 out fresh. It is that weird week like between Christmas and New Year where time, I don't know, like what is time? I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to go on a little field trip, and then we are going to show you how to start your budget on a budget and your cash envelope system on a budget. So if that's something that interests you, I'd love to have you stick around.
Hello and welcome to Budget Pumpkin. My name is Wendy and welcome to my channel. On this channel, we're going to talk about things like budgeting, cash stuffing, planning, dealing with debt, savings challenges, and everything that you could want to know about budgeting. And you're going to be with me on my journey to become debt-free. So if this is something that you want to look into, please tap subscribe and like and comment on this video, and thank you for being here.
Hey, so today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm at the Dollar Tree. I have a $5 budget, and my old lady change purse that I love that my mom got me for Christmas is gonna cover the tax. And what we're gonna do is we're going to get the 4 things that we need to start budgeting. Okay, we gotta avoid the Christmas clearance. I've never been to this Dollar Tree before. Hello, good morning. Okay, here's what we're looking for here is our stationery section. So if you want to cash envelope stuff, you're going to need some envelopes. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So I've got a couple different options, but I think these, because they're littler, about the size of a dollar bill, these will work. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with these. And it has nothing to do with the quantity. I like the size, but I feel like this, if I keep using the envelopes, we get peeled off. So here's our envelopes. We are going to need a notebook. So whatever kind you want to get. I mean, they have filler paper, they have spiral notebooks, they have these composition books. So it's kind of like whatever you feel like you want to write in, grab it. I'm going to grab one of these. Oh, that one's funky on top. I'm gonna grab a different one. There we go. I'll grab this black notebook. We are going to need a pen. So whatever pen you want to get, they have a lot of options. They even have Sharpies if you prefer that. Let's see. I know I like weird pens. Just get whatever you want. I love stationery, so I'm really gonna overthink this. But I really think that these look cute. We'll see how these work. But you can get whatever pen you need. And the last thing we need to find is a calendar. Hi. Do you have any calendars up here?
The only calendars we have is right on there.
Oh, perfect. These are actually reusable. This might be cool. Or we have, let's see, PJ Masks or Transformers. I think we're gonna go with the Transformers because I'm not sure what PJ Masks is. Can you tell I don't have kids? Okay, so we've got our 4 things. So we have a calendar, we have pens, a notebook, and envelopes. $5.30. There's 5.
Need any battery today?
No, thank you. I'm trying to use all my change.
You want your receipt?
30 cents. Yes, please.
And there you go.
Thank you.
You have something?
You too. Okay, so we are back from the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, and we have all of our things. We have our envelopes. We have our pens. I hope these write nice. I got a notebook, and we got our calendar. So for me, if you tell me that the Dollar Tree is $1.25, it doesn't make any sense to my brain. But if you tell me I can get 4 things for $5, I can go to town. So we spent $5.30. I used the change from my little change purse to cover the tax. So that's where we are. And when you do your budget, there's a couple things that you're going to want to do. If they hadn't had a calendar, because I definitely had a problem finding one and they only had like 3 left, I would have probably ended up with a bigger notebook, like something more like this kind, like this. So I would end up with a bigger one. And then I would have bought a ruler if I didn't have one and actually made a calendar in my notebook. So there's more than one way to do this. And they also had really cute, like, reusable wipe-off calendars, but then that would have thrown us out of our $5 budget, because I would have had to get, like, a marker to write on those, so. All right, let's see what we've got. So, okay, so January. What you have to do first before you can make a budget is you have to know what's coming in and what's going out. There are so many different budget situations. You could make more than enough money. You could be high income, but like high debt, which is crippling. That's kind of, I don't know if I'd say that we're super high income, but the amount of debt that we have is crippling for us. There's a lot more we could do with our money. And we will I didn't do a debt check-in in December, but we're going to do one to start off the new year fresh. But first things first, you have to know what's average, what's coming in and what's going out. And then you have to decide how far you can stretch your money. So if you look at my budget with me sheets, now, and first and foremost, the reason why we went to the dollar store to get everything is because, first and foremost, I want you to budget, okay? And this is a basic budget. It's more important to me that you budget and you cash stuff and you get your finances in order. Yes, I do have an Etsy store. Yes, I do sell things that you can use in your budgeting journey that are helpful. But if you haven't done your analysis and you don't know where to begin and you don't determine that you don't have the resources to buy those things, then don't do it. This cost me $5. at the Dollar Tree. And you know, maybe that's one of the things that you save for, is maybe you want a nice little budget binder or something like that. So this is, you know, our Dollar Tree start. You don't need all the fancies. We're going to go ahead and work this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a budget. Okay. And the first thing you need to do is your income. And that corresponds with my box number 1 if you've watched my budget with me videos. Okay, so you have to determine anything that that it comes into your budget, right? So and be any source of income. So it could be income from your job. It could be income from child support. It could be, you know, alimony, or, you know, if you're on SSI, any income source. Okay. So you have to write all of that down. Anything that's regular income. If you're supposed to get child support, but it never comes through, I wouldn't list it here. It's dependable income. If you run a side hustle and you know that you're going to make, you know, $200 a month from that side hustle guaranteed, you can put it here to budget it. But if it's not regular, don't put it here. If you don't know the exact amount, like I'm an hourly employee, so my paycheck fluctuates, so does my husband's. So what I do is I look back at my pay stubs, and we looked back at his pay stubs, and we kind of said, what's like the lowest amount? And then we're going to go a little bit lower. So we based our initial budget off of our income at like the lowest point that regular point we've seen. So underestimate your income. And then number 2 is your bills. Okay. This would be anything that you have to pay out that I say that you need to keep your household running. So like the number 1 thing I can think of is your rent or mortgage. Okay. Utilities, which would be gas and electric. We don't have cable, but we do have internet. What else does this, let's see, water, cell phones, and then your car. We have car insurance and car payment. Okay, so those are all things that we do. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let's see if I can get you a little bit better view over here. Okay, so I tend to overestimate these. Okay, and say that they're a little bit more than they actually are. If you're underestimating your income, you're overestimating your expenses by a little bit, not a ton. It's going to help you because you're going to free up more money in your budget, right? If you think you're getting less than you do and you think you're spending more than you do, you're going to wind up with like a surplus, hopefully, of money. Whereas if you overestimate your income or you underestimate your expenses, you're kind of planning on spending money that you don't already have. So this is important. So these are anything needed to run your household. Now, there's no right or wrong answers in here. Say if you have cable TV and that's necessary because you have a child, you know, that needs to watch that, or, you know, my grandpa's older, but he watches Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune like religiously. So if we didn't have some sort of TV service for him to you know, he lives on his own, but if he didn't have that TV service, he would be really upset. So anything you need to keep your household running. And then number 3 is credit cards or debts. And these are things that you want to pay off. At this point, we have 10 different credit cards. Some are paid off, but we have some high balances on others. I've got my notes over here so I can kind of remember what I want to talk to you guys about. Now, when you do any type of credit cards or if you I consider my car payment a bill because I have 0% finance on it. I bought it a few years ago. I'm not looking to pay that off, but some people, like if you have consumer debt, like credit card debt, most people will pay that off first. And then any other kind of debt, like student loan debt, pay off your cars. And most people, if you own a home, will pay off your mortgage last. It has a lot to do with the interest rate. Credit card interest rates are higher. So the order that we're going to pay off things is we're going to pay off our credit cards first. My husband's student loans are in deferment until at least June. But he is going to have to go back to school. So hopefully we can defer his student loans a little bit more because we're saddled with a lot of credit card debt. But credit card debt, student loans, and then any kind of like cars or toys. Like if you have financed snowmobiles or an RV or something like that. And then lastly, people will typically pay off their home once they're out of debt. On these other categories, a lot of people will consider themselves debt-free when the only debt that they have left is their mortgage. So it just kind of depends, you know, and there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on how you want to define it. So let's write these down. Credit cards, student loans, maybe personal loans, you could put your car here if you wanted, car payment. I'm going to put down here toys, so like RV, boats, etc. Toys, RV, boat, etc. And then I would put like a mortgage. You know, if you're in the situation, maybe you have the home you live in and you have a second home or something like that, maybe do that. So these are all sources of debt. I'm just going to say debt you want to prioritize paying off. Now, when you record your debts and also when you record your bills, also record the due date for your bills. And what I do is I write down the date that they're due, and then I subtract a few days. So if my car payment is due on the 18th of the month, I'm going to have the money go out of my bank on the 15th. So I count when the money leaves my account, not when it's due. So I put the due date or the payment. Because I do keep all my bill money in the bank and I have my bills on auto draft. So I draft them a few days early so they get there on time. When you do this debt section here, you also want the payment date. I'm just going to write date. It's due. You want to know who the pay to. Okay. You want to know what your outstanding balance is. You need to know what your APR, your annual percentage rate. Okay. And then you want to know what your minimum payment is. Okay. Now you're going to need this information to build your budget. Okay, so these are things that we all have to write down. Okay, so number 4, my number 4 is subscriptions. So these are anything, to me, it's things that make life nice and fun. So some of our current subscriptions are Spotify. We like Disney Plus. Let's see, any kind of like, so streaming services, any kind of like memberships, like the gym. Anything like Amazon Prime or like a Costco or Warehouse Club membership. We have Apple phones, so we have Apple where we pay for our storage. I apologize if this is, let me see if this is loose. If I can tighten this camera up. Oh, that looks better. Okay, so we have Apple phones, so we pay for like the Apple like Drive. Trying to think of anything else. Like if you have like a subscription box, like, you know, for clothes or makeup or whatever. So these are just like fun things you want to keep going, you know, a few and fun things. It's not a bill or a utility. It's not something that's necessary to run your household, but it makes things just a little bit more fun and a little bit more nice. Number 5 is sinking funds. So what I do is I separate my sinking funds into 2. So box 5 and box 6 are both sinking funds. Box number 5 are sinking funds that stay in the bank. Okay. And a sinking fund to me is like anytime you set aside money for something because you know it's going to happen. So, you know, you might need car repair. You don't know when you're going to need it, but you know, at some point you're going to need to put new tires or brakes or maintain your car, oil changes. One big one for me is my driver's license and plates. That's one I like to put money in. If you have pets, you might have a pet fund, you know, that would cover, and you can say have one general pet fund, or you might have one like for the veterinarian and one for food, things like, or, you know, boarding or whatever. Just a general emergency fund. Vacation maybe. You know, gifts, birthdays, college. But it's basically anything that we're going to keep in the bank. And then number 6 is also sinking funds. That you are going to cash stuff. Okay, so this is where I pull all of our money out for the month that we're going to spend. And I do this by paycheck. So the biggest thing I cash stuff is gas and groceries, personal spending, and when you see my binder, you'll see, or if you look at my husband's binder, so this is my binder. I have a groceries category, I have a gas category, I have a self-care category, so anything that I do like with hair appointments or anything like that goes into here. Food would be like if I'm out by myself and I want to get fast food or any kind of food, I put it in here. I have coffee funds, and I have a fund for just miscellaneous shopping for things that I want. And then in here, I also have a dog fund. We typically keep our money for our dog in the bank, but I love my dog. This is for, sometimes if I have extra money, I'll put it in here. And then I typically use this money to buy him like dog treats or like wet food that I get at the grocery store. So those are the kind of things. And these are the envelopes that I have, and the categories that I have in here are things that we tend to overspend on. I am always constantly blowing the budget on groceries, personal spending, self-care. Okay. I just thought of a good one. Oh, coffee or eating out. One envelope that I need to create is date night. Because my husband and I have decided we want to prioritize date night as something that we do together. And for us, it works better to pay cash for that kind of stuff than swipe a credit card. When we swipe a credit card, it's like we don't keep track of anything. So you're going to take all of these categories. At the bare minimum, you really need to do like the first 4. So you know what's coming in, and then your bills, your credit cards and your debts, and then your subscriptions. So anything that you've signed up for. So these are all, these first 4, you need that information to create your budget. Okay, so what I do is these are also listed in like priorities. So bills and debt is first, and then we start into like our fun stuff, gas, groceries, things. The things that I take out cash, so those are important too. Like I put gas and groceries right up there with category number 2. Because which is our bills, because we need to eat and we need to get to work. So we're going to go through this. Now, what we're going to do first is, because, you know, we have a calendar here as well. Okay, so I'm going to zoom this kind of back out so you can see both. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark when we get paid. We need to know when money's coming in. So my husband and I are paid bi-weekly. We are paid on Friday. So in January, I wonder if this green pen will work. In January, we have Friday the 13th, and I tend to just circle, and Friday the 27th. So those are the 2 days that we're paid on Friday in January. We're also paid December 30th, and so for our budget, our December 30th check is going to cover the first half of January. So we know when we have money coming in. So for our income, you know, whatever it is and when it comes in, you want to mark it down. So like on the 13th, we're going to get a payday. Okay. And I'm going to kind of like make a budget up. Usually I use my numbers, but let's say we get paid, I don't know, $2,000 or whatever it is. Okay. And then on the 27th, we have a payday of $2,000. This tool is used for forecasting, so it's important to estimate your income and forecast your budget so you have a general sense of what you have coming in and what you have going out. But when the actual numbers come in, it's going to make a difference in your cash flow. And so if you watch some of my older budget with me, we kind of go through cash flow, and we'll go through that a little bit on here as well. So I'm gonna kind of follow my calendar. Grab my calendar just so I can look at it and have kind of like an idea of about dates and things like that. So, so this is our income. So we're working with $4,000 per month. Okay, our section number 2 is our bills. So we're gonna say on the first of the month, the rent is due. But if it's due on the first of the month, I need to have money to pay for it. So I would actually want to send it on my bank on like the 27th. So we're going to put rent is here. And we're going to put $1,000. Okay. I find it easier to fill out the calendar, but you can fill out either one. So on the 27th, we're going to pay our rent of $1,000. Okay, then I actually pay my mortgage on the 25th, so that works. The next thing we have to pay is our utilities. My gas and electric is combined. And say it's $120, and we pay it on the 5th. We have to pay for our water. $40. We pay $40, which I've heard is actually pretty low for water. Okay, I forgot that our internet is due on the 1st. We pay $90. Our cell phones are on the 11th. And we'll say we pay, $120 for those cell phones. So 1, 2, 3, 5. So we have. Oh, and we have a car payment. So our car payment is $200, and our car insurance is $80. Okay. And then our debts. So say there's one credit card that's due on the 19th. And it has a minimum payment of $100. And then we have on the 25th, we have a student loan for $150. Let's say that's all that we have. So to me, it's easier to fill things out in the calendar and make a list. I do both, but I tend to fill in here first and then transfer it over. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to smack the camera there. Okay, so if we want to add all this up, so that's $1,650 in our bills. So I bring this kind of over here, so $4,000 minus $1,650 is $2,350 left. Okay, our debt, we have these two things. So this is $250. So minus $250. So we have $2,100 left. Now, at this point, even though I'm going to cash stuff, gas and groceries, and it's in box number 6 because that's what I withdraw in cash, I'm going to give it priority right here between bills and debt, because you have to eat and you have to be able to get back and forth and work. So I put this is going to go number 6, sinking funds. Okay, so gas, I spend about $100 a week between the two of us, so that would be $400 per month. And groceries, I was giving us $100 a week, which would be like $400 a month, but we keep going over budget, so I decided to up that to $150 a week, which is $600 a month. So for this total, oh, I wrote that in the wrong spot. 400, 600. Okay, that gives us a total of 1,000. So 2,100 minus 1,000 is 1,100. So this $1,100 we have is going to have to say this, this, and this, less our gas and our groceries. So number 4, which is our subscriptions. Now I'm going to assume that we're paying every subscription on a monthly basis, except for like Prime and Costco. So say you have a Prime subscription, I think it was like $150 for the year. When I did my budget and I rounded it, I came up with $13 per month to put away. So you'll want to put away $13 per month, but depending on when you start your budget and when your Prime renews, you might need to put away extra, because you take the cost of your membership and divide it by the number of months that you have until you have to pay that membership again. And then that gives you what you should save per month. And then once you've paid that subscription for the, your year, for a yearly one, then you can take, what the subscription cost is, and then divide it by 12, and then save that much per month. So your subscriptions are going to fluctuate. So say you have that, say you have a gym membership, that is, say we go to Planet Fitness and it's $20 a month. What's another one? Say you've got a couple streaming services, and say you spend like $30 on all those. Let's just say that maybe you have like a snack box or something. That's like $40 a month. So 60, 90, 103. Okay. And we want to bring over this 1,100 we're using. So 1100 minus 103 is $997. Then we can get into number 5, which is sinking funds. Maybe your car's kind of old, right? Or you know you need to get something done. So your car repair, maybe you're going to put $100 in that per month. Your Christmas fund, you're going to put $100 into that a month. You want to contribute some to your medical. So you're going to put $100 of that. You really want to get your debts paid off, right? Because you've got $250 of minimum payments per month, but that's only minimum payments. It's not paying extra for you to get it paid off. So say we have a debt, extra debt payment of, we're going to pay $100 per month on debt. You're going to go on vacation soon. And maybe that's your priority. Maybe you're going to put $200 a month away for that. So it's $600 out of your $997. So this adds up to $600. So this is $300. Yeah, $397. And then number 6. These are in the bank. Sinking funds. This is going to be what we have in cash. So let's see what we typically do. Because this is where I save all of my holiday money, but let's see if we have a monthly budget in here. I don't think we do. I think I got rid of it. Okay, well, say, you, for, spending money, you want, $20 a week, so that's $80 a month. Maybe you want Starbucks. That's really important to you. And maybe you're gonna budget $17 a month just to make sure you got it. Maybe you have a sinking fund for your emergency fund. And that's, maybe you're going to put $100 per month into that. Maybe you go to the salon or you get your nails done. And let's say that's $100 per month, with your tip or whatever. And, eating out. Maybe you want to spend $100 per month. So this is $397. Yes, I did that on purpose because we want to have a zero-based budget. So basically what I keep doing is when I set up our budget for the year, I categorized everything. I have a big whiteboard. We wrote down all the things that we spend our money on. And what we have to spend in order to keep our household running, right? Our debt payments and our bills. And then, we have to eat, we have to get back and forth to work. So I prioritize that. And then anything to make life fun. And then, you know, things for the bank, and then things that I'm going to withdraw in cash. Typically, what you want to withdraw in cash are the things that you're always over budgeting on. So your groceries is one. Eating out is another huge one. So what we did was we prioritized those. Maybe you're going to prioritize going to the salon higher than I do. It doesn't matter. It's your budget. These are just kind of numbers that that I used. Okay. So this is our estimate, and when we get paid, we want to make sure this is blue, but it's really more green. So when we get paid, we got to make sure that we cover this and we cover this. Okay. Now, if you are not a month ahead, so like if you're going into January and you don't know what your income is going to be because you're not paid, you have to make sure you're going to have cash flow. Okay. So we're going to say how do I want to do this? Okay. So January, well, I'm going to say December 30th. Right? That's when we get paid. And say our paycheck, you know, say we worked a little over and, you know, had a little bit more. When you're not a month ahead and when you're budgeting, so like for my paycheck on January 13th, anything that I make or I have to pay has to be covered, right? So any bill that's due January 13th through January 26th, I have to make sure that gets paid out of this check. And then the 27th again, and that would go into February, right? So the 27th, so if I get paid on the 27th, I don't get paid here, and I get paid on the 10th, and I get paid on the 24th. Typically when I get a calendar, the first thing I do is I circle all of our paydays. So when we're paid here on December 30th, which is this Friday, we have to cover every bill from December 30th all the way through January 12th. Okay. Now, say we made a little bit extra. Maybe we had like a holiday bonus or something like that. So say we're going to bring in, we start now with $2,200. I know I'm keeping these numbers round. Typically, if I have a little bit of cash left, I just leave it in the bank for like a little bit of what we call buffer. Okay. So we're starting with $2,200. Now, every bill that I have to pay from December 30th, and like I said, this has to cover through January 12th. So on the 1st, I have my internet for $90. I have my, on the 5th, I have my gas and electric for $120. On the 10th, I have my water for $40. On the 11th, I have my cell phone for $120. Okay. Now, this is really important, is that you want to make sure that out of your check, you are covering 1/2 of a month of bills at least. So $1,650 divided by 2 equals $825 $5. Okay, and down here on our debts, you'll see our credit cards due on the 19th, our student loans due on the 25th. So we don't have to pay either of those right now, but we want to make sure we set aside a half, right? So 250 divided by 2 equals $125. So even though they're not due right now, we are going to set the money aside, and then we'll see how this works. So this is what's due. So let's get a total on this. So this total is $370. Okay. We already know from up here that a half of a month of bills is $825. Maybe out a little bit. Okay. Okay, so a half a month of bills, everything we pay out in a month is $825. We only have to pay $370 in bills this month, or this paycheck, right? Let's see if I get this to say. So if we take this, so let's see, I'm going to say it was $850, no, $825. $825. So I have $825 minus $370. So that's a difference of $455. Now, if we just spend that, come next paycheck, we're going to get screwed because we're not going to have enough money to pay, right? So we're going to save that money in the bank, $455. So on next pay, when we need it, that money's going to be there. So this is going to total $825. So I'm going to subtract that. So 2200 minus 825 is $1,375. That's going to go into our next category. Okay, so our number, sorry, this was number 2 bills. Number 3 is credit cards and debts. Okay, now if we look on here, I said our credit card payment's not due till the 19th, and our student loan's not due till the 25th. So we don't have to pay those right now, but we still need to save a half of a month. Okay, and our half of a month is $125. Again, if you don't pay this right now because your bill isn't due, then you're going to be hurting later in the month. So $1,375 minus $125 is $1,250. Okay, now, cash. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to need groceries and we're going to need gas. So number, it's actually number 6, but it would be, I'm going to actually leave that number 6. We'll come back to that. So subscriptions, 103. I'm going to round this up to 104 just to make it even. And then 104 divided by 2 equals $52. Our sinking funds is $600 per month, so 600 divided by 2 is $300 that we need to budget for this category. And the reason why I'm dividing everything by 2 is we get paid every other week. Okay, so what I do is I budget 2 paychecks per month. Because December is what we call a magic month for anyone who's paid on the same, these are my pay dates. So if you're paid on the same dates as me, that third check on December 30th, I'm using that to fund the first half of January. January 13th, the check will fund the second half. If you're not ahead, if you have debt, if you're not necessarily debt, but if you're behind on your bills, you may not be able to do that. And that's okay. You just want to make sure you're covering what's due, when it's due, and saving the rest, because if we keep going forward with the budget, you're going to find a time where the money you brought in was not enough to cover your bills, which maybe is what you're going through already. You know, again, if you're not saving, if you didn't save this $455 here and this $125 here to cover half of your credit card payment, now you're going to be almost $600 short when your next check comes that you have to pay it. So, getting here a little bit closer. So, number 4, subscriptions. We need to put subscriptions. We need to set aside $52. So that gives us 1,198. Number 5, which is our sinking funds in the bank. Okay, we need to put 1/2 of that away, which is our $300. So this is where I'm going to mess up the math if I don't use the calculator. So 1198 minus 300, $898 left. Okay, and then number 6, sinking funds, cash. So this is where, okay, if we get $80, let's say 80, 17, okay, I'm gonna round this up to 398 just so that I can, I'm just gonna say 400. We have a little bit extra money in the budget this month. So 400 divided by 2 is $200. So I'm going to withdraw out of the bank and $200. That's, oh, hello, and I missed our gas and our groceries, which half of our gas, and this is $500, so let's do gas. Half of that is $200. Groceries is $300 for the 2-week period, so $698. This is totals 500, so 698 minus 500 is $198 that you're going to have left. Now, you want to make sure, and it's 198 instead of 200 because I just rounded up those couple of categories for the sake of math. This $119 is what you have to play with, right? So this is the fun. Oh, not far enough to zoomed in too much. Okay. This $198 is what you have that's extra, right? We've made sure that we've saved for our bills. We've saved for our credit card debt. We've saved for our subscriptions. We've saved for the things that we're saving for in the bank. We've saved our cash, whatever we're going to spend on our cash, which is groceries and gas is $500, and then half of all of these, right? So if I'm going to cash stuff this, I'm going to put 50 in my eating out envelope, 50 in my salon envelope, 50 in my emergency fund, 40 in spending, and then I think we're on this up to 18, so it'll be like $9 in my Starbucks fund. So whatever, half of that, right? So this is where we get to prioritize, and this is kind of like the fun stuff because this is our extra money. As long as we hold to our budget and we don't overspend anything. So we have $198 extra. So what do you want to do with it? Okay. And this is where we're going to be intentional with our money. So I'm kind of the opinion that if you're working really hard, you should be able to reward yourself. So say I'm going to go at the salon, maybe I'm going to put an extra $20 in there. Right, I want to get some extra with my nails or my hair. Eating out, maybe I want to put another, eating out, maybe I'm going to put an extra $50 in there. Maybe, it's someone's birthday and we're going to go to the bar or go for a nice dinner, right? I do want to put some towards my debt. I want to get that credit card paid off. So why don't I put like that $98 towards debt? Every penny helps. And then that gives us another $30. So maybe I want to put that in my, I'm trying to think about where I'd want to put it. I don't know, maybe I found something cute for my house. So I'm going to put $30 there. Maybe I saw like a cute candle and a soft blanket at Target. I mean, that's totally normal, right? So this adds up to our 198. If you don't know what to do with it, sometimes I put my extra money into like an oh shit fund. Because I'm like, okay, well, I want this. Oh, I don't have the money. Or maybe, got to buy extra meds for the dog or something like that. So maybe I want to pad that or whatever. But when what you have brought in matches what you're spending, and if you go through and you don't use this money, say you only spend $30 on that dinner eating out, put that extra $20 on debt. I don't know, I'm a firm believer that yes, we do have to pay debt, but some people will do everything they can. They will hustle, they will work as hard as they possibly can, do everything that they can to make extra money so they can pay off the debt. And I'm not saying that we're not going to do that, but I always feel like if you have a budget and it's too restrictive psychologically, you're not going to want to do it. Okay, so that's why I try and do this. Now, where the envelopes come into play is here. So for me, now you can cash stuff your bills, right? You can, whatever, internet, gas, electric, or whatever, water. For me, it doesn't work. I need to leave that money in the bank. Now, by using magic months, I'm using December as my first magic month, and then my next magic month will be in June. Since we're bi-weekly paid employees, we get paid every other week, but December has 3 paychecks, and then June will have 3 paychecks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those 2 magic months to get a month ahead. And then at that point, I can actually withdraw all of our money from the bank and cash stuff it, and then go back to the bank and deposit what we need for our bills at that point. Now, these little envelopes, so take one out, write on there what it's for. This is what they are for. So, you know, on one of them, I would write down gas, and then I would write down groceries if you have to. So if I give myself like $300 worth of grocery money in 1 week, and this money has to last me 2 weeks because that's how I get paid, I will spend all $300 in week 1 if I have it on me. So you may want to make 2 envelopes, one grocery envelope for this week, and then put the other 150 in the other grocery envelope for next week. If you're paid weekly, you know, you're going to divide everything by 4 instead of 2. And then any of this down here, gas, groceries, the sinking funds. So what did we say our sinking funds were? So our spending money is 80, which would be, okay, so 40. Starbucks would be $9, emergency 50, salon 50, eating out 50. So you'll put all those, you know, envelopes. Now say $50 is not enough to go to the salon, and you need your next $50 from your next, you know, your next pay. Hang on to it in the envelope and leave that envelope at home. If I don't have money with me, I can't spend it, right? So this is how you set up your budget. I'm not going to open these and write on them, but you would take these, take your pen or take a marker, write on the envelope what it's for, put the money inside the envelope, and then you can budget it. You know, decide how you want to carry them around. Now on here, like moving forward, once you know what your bill dates are, I would fill in the rest of this calendar, right? So then that way you know when everything's due, because what'll happen is it'll fluctuate. So if we go ahead and do 1 more month's worth of budget, okay, and say, so this is December 30th, January 12th. Let's budget January 13th. To 26. Okay. So now the bills that we have to cover our car. Oh, number 1, income. Say it, you know, it was tight at work, you got your hours, and that's it. So say we just brought in $2,000. Okay. So, number 2, bills. We have a car payment of $200. We have a car insurance of $80. And then we don't have to pay our rent technically until that check on the 27th. So this is $280. Now, 1/2 of our bills is $825. Right? So we're going to take $825 minus this $280 equals $545. We're going to save that. Okay, so then this is $825. $2,000 minus $825 equals $1,175. Number 3 is credit card and debt. Okay, so we owe on our credit card $100, and on my student loan $150. Right? So this is a total of $250. Okay? But instead of having to try and pay all of it, remember right here, last time we saved half of that money. right? We saved half of that money that we needed. So we can, from savings, 125. So we only need $125 from this paycheck. So 1175 minus 125, that's 50, 1,050 left from our paycheck. And if we look, we saved $455 last check. Plus, here we're going to save $545 from this check. That's $1,000. You can see that's $1,000. That's actually going to cover our rent. Because if you look at this check here on the 27th of January, we're actually going to have to cover our bills to the 10th. So I'll go over that in just a second. Or we can do it now. So on the 1st, we pay our internet of $90. On the 5th, we pay our gas and electric of $120. On the 10th, we pay our water of $40. And that's the way we get paid. So on the 27th, not only do we have to cover our $1,000 rent, we also need to come up with another $90 and $120, another $210 just to cover our other utilities until we get paid again on the 10th. So if we only, if we didn't save that money, you know, to pay, then we would be, you know, really, really short for the month. That's number 3, number 4, which is subscription. So we're paying number 4, or half of our subscriptions for the month is $52. I just leave this money in the bank because technically my subscriptions get put on like a credit card and then I pay the card. So minus 52. So this gives us $998. Number 5 are sinking funds that we want to save in the bank. Half of that is $300. So we have $698 left. And number 6, you know, we need $200 for this. 406. So we need $500 for like number 6. This is our cash, gas and groceries. We subtract 500, and then that leaves us $198 for this one. So one of them I would short these $2 and just, you know, so basically we need $200 for the sinking funds category. We have 198 in my book. That's close enough. So that's kind of more of our spending. 198, so minus 198 equals 0. So we've balanced out our budget. And this is just as easy as it is doing it in a notebook on pen and paper. So I wanted to go through this process with you, and you basically just, you know, you keep filling in your calendar, filling this in, filling it in. Let's see, February 10th and the 24th, which means you get paid on the 10th and on the 24th in March. So we don't get paid March 31st, so we get paid April 7th, and we get paid April 21st. We don't get paid on the 28th, so we get paid on the 5th. 19th. We don't get paid the 26th. It's stuck together. So we do get paid on June 2nd, June 16th, and June 30th. So if you are paid like I am, and you do have the available money, you know, you're not hungover on Christmas. So my checks from December 30th and January 13th are going to cover all of January's bills. January 27th and 10th are going to cover, February 10th are going to cover February's bills. February 24th and March 10th are going to cover March's bills. March 24th and is this April? April 7th will cover April's bills. April 21st and May 5th are going to cover all of May's bills. May 19th and June 2nd are going to cover all of June's bills, which gives us June 16th and June 30th to cover all of July. So this is how I'm getting a month ahead. And to me, people define being a month ahead different things. Oh, you're a month ahead on your bills, you're a month ahead on this. No, my month ahead is I want to be a full month ahead. If something happened and I did no lifestyle change whatsoever, I would be able to live for a month at the exact same standard of living. I have a month worth of income in the bank. Now, that may not be the case for you. It may be a longer time coming. If you have like past due bills, you know, if you have past due bills, you've got to write everything down, much like we would normally, and then you've got to call the people you owe the money to and see what payment plans you can set up. But you can't set up a good payment plan if you don't know what your financial situation is. So I know this video has already gotten like super long. It's over an hour. So hopefully this helps you get a good start in January of 2023. So I will see you later and have a great rest of your day.